It was another fun night around the NBA as another NBA Cup night. We had double overtime games that went down to the wire, and we're going to recap it all on Locked On NBA Game Night.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night, tipping off now.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On NBA Game Night, where it's every game, every night. I'm one of your hosts here. Hey, my name is CEO Haize. I'm one of the hosts of Locked On Bulls, and I'm joined by the first time of me recording with John Corrales of the Locked On Celtics show. How you doing, John?
I'm doing well. Look at this, a Celtics fan and a Bulls fan living in perfect harmony. Who would have thought?
Dogs and cats living together. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. John, we had a lot of fun games tonight. We're going to get into some double overtime games and everything else, but we're going to start off with the team that's red hot right now in the Eastern Conference. The Pistons get their 9th straight win over the 76ers, 114-105. This is the second straight game that the Pistons were out Cade Cunningham, Tobias Harris, Osura Thompson, Jalen Duren, and they still pulled out a win. How are you feeling about this game?
Look, I don't know. I know we're going to hear from Koo in a second. I echo what he's saying. Like, this is just some sort of like magical kind of early season run for them when, you get performances from unknowns, from two-way players, from, you get Dennis Jenkins starting at the end of the third quarter through the fourth quarter, kind of leading this big comeback. Pistons just played great. They held Tyrese Maxey in check. I think the Sixers are starting to feel it a little bit. They lost Kelly Oubre in the middle of this game. So I just kind of think the Sixers were on they were on the magical run to start because of Maxey and a little bit of Edgecombe. Yeah. Pistons have just found a way. So, I know Pistons fans have gone through a lot. It's nice to see them kind of getting these kind of crazy, unexplainable wins right now.
For sure. And one of the people that's most excited about these unexplainable wins is the host of Locked On Pistons, Koo Cahill. And we do have a message from him.
You guys know who I am. Host of the Locked On Pistons podcast, Koo Cahill. And you guys know also that the Pistons are now on a 9-game win streak. They won this game without Cade, without Asar, without JD, without Tobias, without Ivy, without Sasser. Second straight game.
Clearly, technology is not in our favor today. We had a message from Koo Cahill, but clearly it doesn't want to work correctly for us today. But Koo is excited, and he's rightfully so excited. Like, Koo's been, here, and a lot of Pistons fans have gone through this team, losing a bunch of games, to the point where they had a head coach that didn't really believe in that team. Now they've had that for the last couple of years. Cade Cunningham is a star, but what they're doing now with winning without most of their entire starting five is just a special run right now.
And so you need these wins when you're going to have a season like this, when you're trying to be at the top, when you're trying to make it to, make it through the playoffs and make your run. These kind of unexplainable games, these kind of like, hey, everybody steps up. And look, these I don't want to make it sound like it was, me and like, one of these media teams that got blown out by coaches out there. This was, the Pistons threw out a lineup of decent players, but just the way they're playing together, the way they're playing with energy. Jenkins is playing with some incredible confidence. The shots that he's taking with confidence, it's not typical of a two-way player, but he's out there, he's doing his thing. And I think all of that stuff carries through. You need these kinds of wins. They're 11-2 at the top of the East. If you're going to be a top seed, yeah, you're going to probably win a lot of these games with Cade, with Asar, with the full complement of your best players. How do you do when those guys are out? Who steps up? How do you manage these kind of like tough situations? If you're winning most of those games, that's how you become a 50+ win team. And so At 11-2, the Pistons don't have to do much now for throughout the rest of their schedule to get to that 50-win plateau. Like that, they've set themselves up to be a 50-win team this year.
Absolutely, especially the Eastern Conference. Like if you get out to an early lead like this in the Eastern Conference, you can really separate yourself early. That's what the Pistons have done so far. Like I said, through the adversity that they've done it with this season has been great to see. But let's switch gears. Let's talk about the next game. The Warriors took on the Spurs for the second straight game, and Steph has his second straight 40-point game against the Spurs as the Warriors win this game 109-108 NBA Cup play. How'd you feel about this game, John?
I want to know what De'Aaron Fox was thinking at the end of this game. Yeah. He just the worst final minute plus where he is missing shots, he's getting burned. Haize, refresh my memory. How tall is Victor Wembanyama?
Oh, what was
10, 11 feet tall?
Yeah, something like that.
Now look, we're podcasters, we're not NBA head coaches. You're down one. You got Victor Wembanyama on the floor. Who would you go to get 2 points? 2 points. What play would you draw up to get 2 points? How about throw it up towards the rim and expect just go throw it up towards the top of the backboard. Just go catch it. There was a play that it wasn't called a shooting foul, but it was an inbound where he got fouled by Draymond and still finished the dunk. And I'm thinking of that play as De'Aaron Fox is bringing up the ball and kind of dancing around with it. We just saw him go up through contact, fouled by Draymond, and still catch it and dunk it, even though that dunk didn't. Just do that again. Do that again. Honestly, I think what happened was Steph was amazing. But not only was Steph amazing, you had Podziemski hitting threes. You had just the Warriors just going 3-point crazy. And I think the Spurs got a little too caught up in that, kind of forgot who they were for a little bit. I think De'Aaron Fox wanted to get in on the fun, and you forgot that you've got this alien there. Just throw him the ball. I think the Spurs had this game, and De'Aaron Fox, unfortunately, was a big reason why over the last minute or so that they couldn't finish this off.
Absolutely. De'Aaron Fox, like you said, had one of the worst last minutes in the NBA season so far. But I still think the Spurs seem like they're ahead of schedule, the way that I view it. Like,
sure.
They're ahead of schedule, which is really good. They're playing as a team. And Wemby is really seeming like he's hit that spot already. Like, I think Wemby's like a year ahead of where I thought he'd be in his development, considering how much time he's missed as well. So the fact that they competed with this Grizzly Warriors team that I've called the Wild Hog season, because they're all old men. It's just a bunch of old people out there.
Look, the Warriors needed this. The Warriors needed this win. You could tell that they were going for this win because I think Curry played more minutes than usual. The substitution pattern was a little bit different. They left him in a little bit longer. I think Steve Kerr knew after some tough games, Draymond's calling out teammates, they needed to get this win against the Spurs, just for their own kind of just their own mentality. So they went for it. From the Warriors' perspective, this is like their biggest win of the season, just because they kind of went overboard. Like they might lose the next game just because of the minutes that were played, but they needed this win. Kerr was coaching this like they needed this win, and lucky for them, they got it.
Do you view the Warriors as legit, that they have a legit chance to come out the West, or do you think they're just going to be a really tough team?
I don't think they're going to come out of the West. I never really thought. I just think they're too old. I think the Kuminga stuff is too disruptive. You're a dozen games into the season, and Draymond's already talking about agendas. That does not bode well. They could always pull it together, right? Yeah. I've talked about the Warriors a few times on this podcast. And each time I said the same thing. Talk to me in January, because I need to see that they started hot. They're going to go through a lull. Talk to me in January. Let's see where they are and how they are like the anti-Pistons, where the Pistons need to pile up these wins early because they can go 500 of the rest of the way and still finish a 500 team. The Warriors don't kind of care where they finish. They just need to be like in the mix because they know how to win championships. So if in January they're kind of above 500, then maybe I'll consider them a contender then, depending on their health, depending on their attitudes. Right now, it's very much a wait and see, but I still obviously don't see them in the same class as OKC. I don't see them in the same class as Denver.
I agree with you there, 100%. From that, we're going to talk about another team that was hopeful to be a contender coming into the season, but it started off a little bit of a weak spot, and that's the Orlando Magic, who won their third straight. But first, we got to get to a message from a couple of our sponsors. The first one being Drip Drop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, energy, mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using Drip Drop. It's doctor-developed hydration that helps keep me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of the top college and pro teams. I like using Drip Drop as part of my daily routine. I'll mix a packet in the morning before my gym or during the midday slump. Hydration has become a non-negotiable for me. Drip Drop helps me feel sharper, calmer, and honestly, just better overall. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard and keep your body and mind performing their best with Drip Drop. I also got to talk to you guys about Wayfair. The holiday season is right around the corner, and that means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or fun serveware for holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to help you make your space shine. And the best part, you don't have to wait. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are all happening all month long, up to 70% off everything from sofas to spatulas. I couldn't believe how fast everything shipped, just in time for the holidays. Browsing through their site, it's easy to find pieces that actually fit my style. Nothing generic, just quality designs that feel personal. If you've ever hosted family for holidays, you know just how much difference a few new touches can make. Wayfair makes that easy. Don't miss out on the Black Friday deals. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale up to 70% off. That's WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th. We're Locked On Game Night coming up next. All right, John, let's get into it, man. The Orlando Magic, who started off the season pretty slow, win 105-98 over the Nets. We know that the Nets aren't necessarily, the best competition in the league, but this is the Magic's third straight win, and they needed this to kind of start correcting their season. Desmond Bane, who started off the season shooting horribly from the field, finished with 19 points. He scored 9 of those points in the fourth quarter in this game. How you feeling?
Well, without Paolo Banchero, you got to take all the wins you can get. It wasn't the most impressive win. We know that Brooklyn isn't out here trying to, light the world on fire. I don't think the Magic looked particularly great. They had 19 turnovers. Still not generating. I mean, they're not going to generate a ton of 3-pointers. So I'm happy that they got 7 of them for Desmond Bane. Like, they need to find ways to get him going. This is like basically not the cleanest game in the world, but they made just enough plays to get past Brooklyn. At this point, without Paolo, take your wins, move on, just try to correct it next time, and don't think too much about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a clip here from the host of Locked On Magic. Let's see how he's feeling about this game.
This is Philip Rossman-Reich, the host of Locked On Magic here at the Kia Center as the Orlando Magic escape with a 105-98 victory over the Brooklyn Nets. A huge three-pointer by Tristan da Silva, 2 huge three-pointers by Franz Wagner. Iced the game that was very, very ugly. They don't care how much you win by, except they do. It's the NBA Cup. They do care how much you win by. A very, 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 very disappointing effort overall for the Magic, though. They finished with 19 turnovers for 21 points. They were sloppy with the ball. They struggled to break Brooklyn's press down, and while their defense grew into the game and played very, very well, you hold the team 98 points, you'll take that. At the end of the day, the Magic have to expect more from themselves. The first game without Paolo Banchero with the strained groin was certainly a struggle for them. They could not create the same amount of force going downhill, could not get to the foul line as much. It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment to get used to playing without Paolo. A rough game shooting for Paolo and for Franz and Desmond. It's going to be tough to win when they shoot like this, but the Nets let you make mistakes. The Magic made just few enough to win this game. The Magic beat the Nets 105-98.
Hey,
I love the way he worded that there. They make just a few enough mistakes to be able to win this game. That's what it has to be about the Magic. Do you think the Magic can still salvage this season, or has this one already with injuries and stuff maybe gotten away from them?
This is funny because I wanted to ask you a similar question about, like, do you think the Magic are in trouble? So I'll answer yours first. They're lucky that they're in the East.
Yeah.
Because you can have this. Like, I think the Pistons are going to level off, and they're not going to win 85% of their games all season long. So they'll level off. But even if they don't, it doesn't really matter. You've got the Knicks at 8-4, the Hawks at 8-5, the Cavs at 8-5, the Bucks at 8-5. The Sixers are even at 7-5. Look at that. And then the Raptors at 7-5. Everybody's like stacked together. The Bulls are 6-5. Everybody's so close that the Magic are only 4 games out of the top spot. Mm-hmm. So they are, I don't like how their season has started. I don't like that Paolo is hurt. I don't like how they're being used. I think there are questions about Jamal Mosley's coaching, and that, like, everybody's focused on Willie Green in New Orleans. We're going to get to that. But the Magic need something to maximize their talent, much like JB Bickerstaff is maximizing what's going on in Detroit. So I personally, I'm not hitting the panic button on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm probably at like a 6.5. But where are you on that?
Yeah, I mean, the Magic. It's just because their offense is so stagnant. I mean, this is like the 5th year in a row we've been talking about that. And yeah. Them being in the East is the one reason why you look at that. Like you said, I think from the 1st seed to the 10th seed is like 4.5 games separating those teams. So they're not technically out of it. And I expect the East to be pretty close like that for the majority of the season. But the Magic got to get something going, man. Their inability to hit shots is just gonna keep hurting them. And now they're in the 2nd straight season where they've made an acquisition that's supposed to help with that. Last year was KCP. This year it's Desmond Bane. And they just still don't have enough consistency there. So I think the Magic can still make the postseason, whether that's the play-in or whatever else. But for this team that a lot of people, me, myself included, looked at them like they could be a team that can compete to win the East, they just seem very far away from that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's they need more than one player. Absolutely. They need to maximize what they have, but they still need a true point guard. They need more help to just kind of organize everything on the floor. But I do think they need a better scheme. I just think they need to figure out how to use the talent that they have a little bit better.
Absolutely. A game today that was a lot more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. Going into double overtime, the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. We're actually going to start off with this one, hearing from Nick from Locked On Mavs and how he felt about his team losing this game.
Make it double for the Dallas Mavericks. Double overtime game. First overtime game of the season for the Mavs, and they lose it. D'Angelo Russell gives and takes sometimes. Man, he was awesome in this game. 28 points, 5 assists, and was just going at the Clippers when they were running drop defense. That was absolutely massive for him. He was huge in the 4th quarter. One of the reasons why the Mavericks were even able to go to overtime or even stay in this game is because him and a lot of the bench unit was really good in this one. But then 7 turnovers, missed all 6 of his threes. Just one of those back and forth games where, like, you give, you take. Najee Marshall, 28 points for him. He was absolutely awesome handling the ball and defending Harden. He had some really good defensive plays against Harden, even though Harden destroyed the Mavericks. 41 points. Had their first 40-point triple-double of the Clippers franchise history, I think that I read. Cooper Flag, a little bit of a rough one early going, but he had some clutch plays. He had some really good defensive plays against Harden as well. And then he also hit some clutch buckets late in this game, including late in the first overtime, but then in the second overtime had 3 crucial mistakes that we'll talk about on the show. Mavs lose in double overtime, but you keep moving forward. Flag, keep growing around him, see what happens.
Shout out to Nick, who's I know struggling from being a team that was in the NBA Finals to now clearly heading towards a rebuild. It seems like as they're reportedly thinking about blowing up a lot of that roster. John, how'd you feel about this game?
I gotta just let Mavs fans, they're going through it. Just, it's going to be okay. This was, I didn't think this needed to go to overtime. D'Lo, I mean, the full D'Lo experience in this, because he was the reason why they had a chance. But then on the last possession, he was just so determined to get the last shot, the last possession in regulation. I think he had Najee Marshall wide open, and Marshall was 3 of 5 from 3. He had him wide open on the left above the break, and he had Cooper Flagg kind of open in the right corner. Even if it was just a give it up to get it back, give it up to Cooper, set a screen, a pin down, and then find yourself open. He tried to do too much on that play. That, I think, was just a missed opportunity, and D'Lo trying to just do way, way, way too much on a night where he was like, no, I've gotten us this far. I'm going to win the game. And it was just a bad play. And then I think Cooper Flagg kind of ran out of gas, made some really bad mistakes in the fourth quarter. So, but hey, listen, can't go this far without mentioning 41 points, 14 rebounds, 11 assists, and a bunch of big buckets for James Harden in the OT. So, shout out to James. 51 minutes. 51 minutes. Now, can I tell you why that's my favorite stat? Because the Clippers play the Celtics on Sunday, and that's your next game. And there's no way Harden is going to have this kind of game after playing 51 minutes, even though it's a couple days away. So that's my favorite stat.
I feel you now. Always gotta look out for our teams, even though we're covering the NBA.
Look out for number one, baby.
I love that. Well, we're gonna recap the rest of the NBA Friday night. We still got 5 games to get through. We're gonna get to a message from a couple of our sponsors. The first one being DoorDash. The NBA season is, there we go. Is it up? All right. The NBA season is heating up, and DoorDash has found the perfect way to keep fans in their bag all season long. Whether you're watching for highlights, your fantasy team, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes every game night even better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something called the Bag Drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. We're talking about player-inspired drip, exclusive gear, and stuff you actually want. I love that it's not just food. You can get everything from snacks and drinks to headphones, ice, and even socks, all delivered. DoorDash has you covered for late-night highlights, last-minute watch parties, and double OT fuel-ups. So next time someone goes off for 50, use promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off DoorDash with Dash Pass, plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only, 50% off up to $10 the day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms do apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashInYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash, in your bag all season long. Also got to talk to you guys about FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Or game night coming up next. All right, John, before we get up out of here, man, we got to recap the last couple of games going on tonight. The first one, Lakers beat the Pels 118-104. How you feeling?
Just handle your business. Pelicans are, I feel bad for Pelicans fans. But yeah, this is exactly what the Lakers needed to do. You go in, you handle your business, you beat a bad team, and you move on. Absolutely.
The Rockets get a win over the Trailblazers here, 140-116. The Rockets, who lost their point guard before the start of the season, they're at 8-3 now on the season to start off with. They've overcome that pretty well. How you feeling about the Rockets season in this win over a tough Trailblazers team that's been playing pretty good this season?
Yeah, this is, classic, look, Şengün, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. I mean, that dude is for real. I mean, he that is what a pickup, what a draft pick that was. You see the Rockets getting 20 offensive rebounds. I saw that up close when they came to Boston and just throttled the Celtics. They get there on the offensive boards. They get up their second chance points. They put up 106 field goal attempts because they get on the boards. They give themselves chances. And on top of that, you shoot 50% on 106 attempts. There's just no stopping that. You put up 140 points, you're winning every time.
Absolutely. The Knicks beat the Heat 140-132. The Knicks, a team that's been playing pretty well. The Heat are still trying to find their momentum. Their offense has been really good. They have some injuries still that they're overcoming. How do you feel about the Knicks season so far?
The Knicks are, hanging in there. No Brunson in this one. They rolled with Miami, who's just their whole thing this season's been up tempo. Possessions in this game, 121 for Miami, 125 for the Knicks. They put up shots in this game. Of course, in a Knicks Heat matchup, we all expected it to be a Landry Shamet, Norman Powell shootout, right? Like when you open up your FanDuel app, that's what you expect, right? That's where you put your money. Shamet carried them in the second half. It was like first half, Cat 31 points, Shamet had 6. Second half, Shamet had 30, Cat had 8. So there's a nice little combination there for the Knicks. Look, until they figure it out, if Mitchell Robinson can play more consistently, they need to kind of hang here and like a performance like this from Shamet helps you on a night where Brunson's not out there.
Yeah, you got to find a way to get wins where you can, and that's what the Knicks did, and I think that's important, especially in Eastern Conference. You want to keep stacking all the wins as you can because it helps separate yourself, as that is a very close conference. Moving on, the Minnesota Timberwolves, 124-110 over the Sacramento Kings. Anthony Edwards, 30 points from him today, 20 points from Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, 26 points. I'm also on the Locked On NBA Daily show, and Matt Moore has been saying a lot how Julius Randle has been the Timberwolves' best player on the season.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards has missed some time, but Julius Randle is putting together a really good season after a really good playoff run as well. How are you feeling about the Timberwolves season?
Yeah, he's like low-key a story. Like everybody's talking about, obviously, Denver and Jokic is having this insane season and Wemby's doing all this crazy stuff. But pay attention to the Timberwolves because Julius Randle, like he's actually having a really good year. Look at 26, 11, and 5 in this. I don't know. Sometimes you just need certain things to, go your way and situations to kind of evolve. And Julius Randle has always been good, but he's settling in and his start to the season has been incredible. It's like the best start to the season that nobody's talking about.
Absolutely. And not enough people are talking. Like Julius Randle, I said last year during the playoff, that was probably the most consistent and best basketball I've seen from Julius Randle maybe ever. And he's really picked up off where he finished in the playoffs last year, carried that over into the season. You get Ant to keep playing the way that we know that he's capable of. I still worry about the point guard position a little bit, but with Randle playing this way, we know what Ant could play like. This could be a team that could be very dangerous and maybe even go to their third straight Western Conference Finals. Maybe they can get over that hump if they catch the right vibe there. Last game of the night, John, the Bucks, 147-134. It's crazy how often we're getting games that are scoring this high now with where it is, but Bucks moved to 8-5 on the season. Hornets fall to 4-8, 147 points, man. That's just ridiculous.
That's insane. It's the cup. You got to pile up the points. Point differential matters. But if this was a close game, it's only a 13-point game. Giannis being Giannis, 18 assists for him. But again, starting lineups here, 25 for Giannis, 29 for Kuzma, 20 for Ryan Rollins. Turner has, having a good game. He needs to get going. The Bucks have, these hopes because Giannis is not a guarantee to stick around. So to kind of put a game like this together is important to put up like 147 points on 85 field goal attempts. is almost impossible to me. You take 85 shots, they shot almost 65%. They were 20 of 34 from three. They got to the line. Obviously, they get to the line a lot because of Giannis, but he only went to the line 3 times in this one. So 17 of 22 to put up that many points is kind of incredible for Milwaukee. So look, the East, like we've talked about, is wide open. Like, shout out to the Hornets for putting up a ton of points too, and Concanipple for putting up 32 and all of that. But if the Bucks have any hopes long term of keeping Giannis sticking around, you need these.
Absolutely. They're going to have to keep those wins up because, of course, they're terrified of Giannis requesting that trade. Don't know if that's coming anytime soon, but luckily they're winning and playing pretty good to start off this NBA season as well. Well, John, before we get out of here, is there anything left? Anything you want to touch on before we get out of here?
No, man, I think we did it. I think, look, this is a 2-man game. We haven't done this together, but I think we came in, we made the right reads. We made the shots. I think we end on a high note.
Absolutely.
I still want to know which one of us is the cat and which one of us is the dog. Because you said cat and dogs at the top. I don't know who's who. I think we're supposed to have that dog in us. Yeah. How can we both be dogs?
We can, but I have to give the dog one to you because you're the former actual basketball player. And I actually went and looked you up. John Corrales, for those that don't know, John Corrales was a pretty damn good basketball player. So I'll succeed the dog to you. I'll be the cat tonight.
A long time. Was. Emphasis on was. Capital W, capital A, capital S.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to John for stepping in for Swiper tonight on Locked On NBA Game Night. We are free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV, even YouTube. Basically, anywhere you want to catch Locked On NBA Game Night, you can catch it. We're going to be there. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.